All right, Shalom. This is Howard One by Yasha Allah of the Gmslionzden camp. I want to give all praises and glory to Yahweh by Hashem Shai. Double honors to the elders, apostles of GMS, and Shalom to you, Akim, Akawaf, around the four corners of the earth. I found this little inscription that was written on these walls of this tunnel that King Hezekiah created during the siege of Sennacherib around 700s. To be precise, it was around 720 BC, around that time period. So I just want to get right into it. This is 2 Kings 20 and 20. It says, "And the rest of the events of Hezekiah and all his mighty deeds, and how he made the conduit and the pool, and he brought the water into the city, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah." See that? So it's written in the Chronicles. The word chronicle means recordings, because our the history of the Jerusalem or the Israelites is written in the scriptures, not in any other book, not in the Assyrians' book, not written on the Assyrians' walls, because on the Assyrian walls and the Babylonian walls, they speak more of their culture and more of their achievements, but in their downfalls. But in our book, it speaks, it magnifies and our achievements and our downfalls and the fall of the temple and the rising of the temple. So, and it speaks little of their history, the Assyrians. But in this sense, it's talking about the inscription that was written. It was written in Paleo Hebrew, which shows that we're supposed to be speaking Paleo Hebrew, dealing with the Lord, and that our people spoke Paleo Hebrew back then, not Assyrian, not Yiddish, not Aramaic, none of that, man. So it says here, Second Chronicles 32 and 3, and he took counsel with his officers and his mighty men to stop up the waters of the fountains. Right, they stopped the waters from outside the city because uh, Sennacherib and all the Assyrians were zeroed in on Jerusalem. All right, they had already took down Lachish, so now they were zeroing in on Jerusalem. So this is when he actually made. They had it. Jerusalem was up on a mountain, so they was able to protect it on all four sides. But the only thing is, they couldn't keep the water from being attacked because the water was outside of the city in a natural fountain that was created by the Most High, man. So they wanted to keep the Assyrians from getting to it. So Hezekiah commanded all his generals to make a tunnel, right? And in this tunnel they had an inscription, like a stamp or a signet, right, from the king Hezekiah, and it was in Paleo Hebrew. All right, and it says, the waters of the fountains that were outside the city, and they assisted him, and a large multitude gathered and stopped up the fountains and the stream that flowed in the midst of the land, saying, "Why should the kings of Assyria come and find much water?" All right, all right. It says, the Siloam inscription, which means Shiloh inscription, or Siloam inscription, or Hezekiah's tunnel, is a passage of inscribed text found in the Shiloh tunnel, which brings water from the Gihon spring to the pool of Siloam, located in the city of David in East Jerusalem, neighborhood of Shiloah and Siloam. The inscription records the construction of the tunnel, which has been dated to the 8th century, which is 800 BC. BCE which means before Common Era. All right, in 8th century, which means 800. On the basis of the writing style, it is the only ancient inscription from the wider region which commemorates a public construction work. Despite such inscriptions being commonplace in Egyptian and Mesopotamian archaeology, it is among the oldest extant records of its kind written in Hebrew using the Paleo Hebrew alphabet. All right, and I know Assyrian. When you see this Edomite reading the inscription, he gonna read it in Assyrian, but he clearly says that it's Paleo, and you can see it. So our people had beautiful constructive techniques and beautiful writing and language back then. A full language where they can say pickaxe and different things like that. All right, let me get this real quick. It says the Siloam Tunnel in Hebrew, Hashalo, whatever, Hashaloah, also known as Hezekiah's Tunnel, is a water tunnel that was carved underneath the city of David in Jerusalem in ancient times. Its popular name is due to the most common hypothesis of its origin, namely that it dates from the reign of Hezekiah of Judah, late 8th century and early 7th century BCE, and corresponds to the waterworks mentioned in 2 Kings 2 and 20. There you go in the Bible. According to the Bible, King Hezekiah prepared Jerusalem for an impending siege by the Assyrians by blocking the source of water of Upper Gihon and leading them straight down onto the west to the city of David. Alright, so this is what they look like. So the water tunnels, man, the old pool. Alright, and they lead to here. Boom. So I'm gonna get to it, man. So with that, man, I'm gonna say all praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and check out this video.
We can see over here the marks on the wall, rock wall, going like this.
A little further down the tunnel, Reich arrives at the spot where King Hezekiah commissioned a memorial.
Here we arrived at the place of the inscription, where it once was.
It is the oldest monumental inscription ever found in Jerusalem. Today it's in a museum in Istanbul.
And it shows a few lines in Paleo Hebrew, ancient Hebrew, of the late 8th century BC. Veze haya devar hanekiva.
The excavators struck, each man to meet his co-worker, pickaxe against pickaxe.
I imagine that it was a day to celebrate because the water went from the spring, which is outside the city on the east, to the pool, which is inside the city